I share with you my story, would you share your melody? Bad times are coming, and I reap what I done sow.
Welcome to Poor People's Revolutionary Radio on KEXU, the Crossroads, 96.1 FM. That's KSU. For all the fans and the understanders of Eshu, Oruba tradition of Ifa, the Crossroads, where the reality meets the truth, where the trauma meets the healing. Come on through. So I'm here with my brother Moteado Silencio, and we start every revolutionary radio by telling you a little bit about ourselves through poesía. Mote!
Hey, what's up, everybody? I go by the name of Moteado Silencio, con voces de migrantes en resistencia here tonight. Yes. A little bio. It's a little bit of, again, telling ourselves who we are, what we about, and the struggle that we come from. Muteado silencio, presente y me alegro. Mis palabras son mis balas, mi lápiz es mi arma. Muteado silencio, my words are my bullets, my pen is my gun. So sit back and relax, cause we're gonna drive by your minds.
Ashe. Incarcerated for crimes of poverty, that's being poor, homeless, on welfare in this stolen capitalist reality, currently at risk of falling back in those cracks, but on this earth to save the world through the word, and in the process, maybe me and mines. So tonight's Poor News Network News Hour is kind of a somber moment. First, I want to start with our weekly gentrification, or as we say, gentrification report. Because sadly, many of our folks are being kicked out of their residences behind the buying and selling of Mother Earth. We don't have an option to fight oftentimes because we face the scam lords, aka the landlords, the developers who continue to kick us out because they're profiting off of Mother Earth. And so we're here trying to make sure that not only are our people degentrificated, but actually able to get equity in the communities that they have been born in this stolen turtle island, to get a stay of execution on one of the families. So that's our current gentrification or degentrification report. As well, Poor News Network, Prensa Pobre, had an emergency press conference on Tuesday, where we actually made or launched an independent investigation. Some of you know that we've been covering the story of Luis Dimitrio Gongarapat, who is a power. What's going on with the recent development? Mote, do you want to talk a little bit about what happened?
Yes, and not only ourselves, but also some of our youth scholars from the Collins Academy were also there reporting and supporting, what's happening with Luis Gongorapat, John Beiser, and also the new one, Brother Greg, which we're going to be speaking a little more, in the future. And I want to say, besides just being a press conference, it was also a prayer circle. Like I was saying at the press conference, that during these times, actually the beginning of October marks the Day of the Dead for us, which is what that means is that when we start remembering people who passed away, their spirits, their lives, their struggle, their words, the poetry they left behind. And again, we have a saying that as long as we keep our people in our memories, and we speak in their names and their truth, they're still with us. So it was a beautiful press conference / prayer circle. Dante was there speaking a little bit about the legal side of what we're going to pursue with this private investigation. And again, we brought the youth, we brought our poetry, and it was this beautiful small gathering of community folks. And I think one of the things that resonated in the press conference is that, in terms of what happened to Luis, in terms of what happened to John Beiser, the community has more questions than the answers that the police department and some of these investigators are giving the community. And I like what Dante said at some point. that we wish the way, which I also want to mention, just like Alex Nieto, Luis Gongora Pat, also someone called the cops, on our folks who sometimes, we gather at sidewalks, sometimes, we gather in corners that we come together. I do believe that day Luis Gongora Pat was playing soccer, which is common for our people, our Latino people. That's what we do on a sunny day. We go out and some of the parks are too far away, and we do it right there on the sidewalk. What I want to say, the connection of that is that someone called the cops on Alex Nieto, someone called the cops on Luis Gongora Pat, and again, we get persecuted in our own communities like we don't even belong there. So again, just a beautiful prayer circle, and pass it down to my sister, because also we have a special guest that we're going to interview, a powerful sister, and pass it to you, Tiny.
So part of the situation is as a lot of people know, a lot of listeners and viewers might know, it's been 18 months without justice for Luis Dimitro Gongora Pat, again, right, who's a Yucatec Mayan brother, crossed these false borders to work in these kitchens as a lavaplatero, a dishwasher, was working 3 jobs before he was actually evicted out of his apartment. A lot of times, like my mama used to say, it's one more little murder of the soul. When he was evicted, he was unable to really come back into his strength. He ended up on the street, but like Brother Mute says, he was he's a gentle man, and like my Mama D used to say, someone would walk softly on Mother Earth. So when the police found him, he was actually holding a soccer ball. It was a 911 call, like we at Poor Magazine talk about. The people who test, arrest, and incarcerate us are the ones we should never call, right? We should never call them. They're not going to be helping us. They're going to just oftentimes be hurting us. So all that to say, one of the things that happened is it's been 18 months without justice. And the terrifying piece of that is that the politrickster in office, Gascon, threw the case out, said there wasn't enough evidence, which is pretty hilarious. And so the family, along with the revolutionary John Burris law firm represented by Adante Pointer, is actually going to, it's opening a civil case with the city. Everything's on track for that. Everybody's in place. And that's planning to go to trial in 2018. We got a trial date, and we were all preparing and getting ready. There's material witnesses, there's evidence, there's several witnesses, and a lot of evidence, right, against these killer cops. The point being is that now, on August 11th, one of the witnesses, a houseless man who was sitting there when he was murdered, right in front of him, literally on the street, by the name of John Visor, died under mysterious circumstances. And he was staying in the Mission Hotel. The other witness, Stephanie Grant, who's a single mama with a child who we've been working with, who's part of Poor Magazine. Hey, we actually have her on the phone. We're going to talk to her about the situation because
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, almost. Yes. Hold on one second. We're just queuing you up.
Tell her yes.
But anyway, so on August 11th, under mysterious circumstances, first of all, John passed away. Now, on October 5th, a second person related to the case, who also lives in the Mission Hotel, passed away. And essentially what we're calling out is, how did that happen? How did these people pass with no reason, right? There's no reason. And one of the things that we're now scared about the most, and for anybody out there who's watching, we're definitely dealing with COINTELHOS right now, so that's why this keeps going out. But bear with us because we will get Stephanie on here and we will get her voice in the room, so give us a second. But anyway, the second witness, or the second person involved, Greg Ferrer, was just told, his family was just joined the investigation. And so there are definitely now 2 material witnesses who have officially passed away. And here we go with Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. You there?
Hi.
Hi. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe you could tell listeners and viewers what's, I don't know, I mean, the situation with both John and Greg, but to maybe talk a little bit about both of those beautiful men who are now no longer with us.
Well, I met John probably around 5 months. I'd probably say almost 6 to 7 months before the Louis Gongora shooting. He was an awesome guy. He would help everybody, anybody and everybody. Anything I needed, he got me. He was just an awesome guy. I can't even explain how awesome he was.
That's another question.
And can you tell us a little bit about the mysterious circumstances of his passing?
Yes. Okay, so the last time I talked to John, it was Tuesday morning around 1:30. It was Tuesday around in his room with the door shut and locked. John never locked his door. They found him. They said 3 different people. His sister and I talked to him with heroin in it, and then they're saying that he committed suicide. But when I talked to the coroner that actually entered the room, he said that there was none of that in his report for John, that John was a rope tied around his neck, that his knees were bent, but he wasn't sitting on anything. There was no needle with her, and there's no way John would have been able to do that to himself. First of all, if John cameras that would tell us who was in and out of his room, and that's why I wanted to get those cameras. There was a girl that was signed into his room to sleep over, but she there's also weird with Greg and John. They both got eviction letters, and before John could even get evicted, he got killed, and the same with Greg. Why John was getting evicted was for the same reason of him not having his friend sign out when they left his room. And but that was the case. Why were they still letting people enter his room? It just doesn't make sense.
Right, and let me just break in for 1 sec to remind listeners and viewers, you're watching and listening to Poor News Network, KEXU, The Crossroads, 96.1 FM, TV, and TV on YouTube. Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. We're talking to Stephanie Grant, one of the other witnesses in the Luis Demetrio Gongora Pat case, about the recent mysterious deaths of not 1 but 2 people related to the case. Stephanie, I know that, maybe listeners and viewers don't know this, but at the press conference, we officially launched this independent investigation. We asked for the records that you're talking about right now, from the Tenderloin Housing Clinic. And I know that you and myself and Mutiado and other community members know that we just got a letter back from Tenderloin Housing Clinic today saying that they would not release the records without a subpoena, which automatically, immediately says that Tenderloin Housing Clinic, a huge nonprofit, right? A huge nonprofit with millions of dollars, receiving millions of dollars to serve poor people, code for profit off of, nonprofit off of, poor people, is blocking an investigation of the death of 2 poor people. So I, first of all, want to call out that I know the Tenderloin Housing Clinic is going to do the right thing, which is to release those records because they don't want to stand in the way of an investigation of 2 of their consumers dying in their hotel where they receive millions of dollars for. But I also want to just ask you, right? I want to ask you, in terms of Greg, you said there was also all these mysterious circumstances and that the medical examiner didn't really, that there's not been no investigation by the police, right?
No, not with either one of them. It seems as if they don't really care, or if they know what happened already and they're trying to, because along with John, once John passed away, they did the memorial very fast for John Weiser. And I found out that I missed Greg Ferrier's memorial as well because they did his as well right away. And his stuff has already been cleaned out of his room as well. So I talked to his girlfriend, and she said that they're waiting for the examiner's report, and she's trying to figure out what the death of Greg was. But she had told me that there was a card that it's not making any sense because on one of the cards she said that one of the people at the Mission Hotel wrote, "I wish I heard you crying for help. I didn't realize it was that serious." So yeah, so I myself believe there's a lot of foul play going on. I don't believe that it's just a coincidence that they died a month apart. I don't know, but I want to get down to the bottom of it for all of us.
And let's just call out again, people are listening to Poor News Network, KEXU, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio, that the bodies, the lives of poor people, of unhoused people, do not matter. But guess what? They do matter. We're not going to let this rest. And for any COINTELHOs listening, watching, and viewing, we're going to bring this up, and we're lifting it up because there will be justice. Just because we're poor folks, it don't mean that our lives don't matter, right? So anyway, thank you, Stephanie. We'll be in touch. We're going to officially putting out a message that Tenderloin Housing Clinic better do the right thing, right? And we will continue. We're probably going to end up, checking in with our other comrades, our community, and paying a visit to the offices of Tenderloin Housing Clinic, because we know they're going to do the right thing. Anyway, all right, Stephanie, we love you. Bye, Jackson. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Stephanie.
All right. Bye, Jackson, because we know you're a revolutionary. Hey, it's getting up. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There you go.
He's so cute.
Beautiful mama. Love you, babe. We'll talk to you real soon. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Yeah. So again, listeners and viewers, you're listening to Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. We're talking about survival radio. We do media for survival because our lives do matter. Just because we only matter in as much belongings as you can steal from us, as many times as you can put us in jail, or as many times as you can evict us in your kangaroo courts, we're here. And like we always say at Poor, change won't come from a savior, pimp, or institution. Change will come from a poor people-led revolution. So that's it for this segment. We're going to be joined next by our other comrades. We have Sister Save His Soul. We have Bilal Mafundi Ali. And we have more coming at you. So a short break and come back. PNN, that's PNN, not CNN, people. And we do need your donations of those bloodstained dollars for liberation.
From the holy microphone, E.T.'s own home. Cause nowadays, extraterrestrials pack chrome. Leave me alone, I'm the original Rolling Stone.
Nice.
It's not working.